Okay, let me get this on our live stream. Hey everybody, you're coming in to the group. Let me put this. Where's my... Oh shoot, where's my group thing? Okay, that's not working. Share to my group. Oh no. Okay, looks like it's not streaming over there. Okay, hang on one second. I'm gonna let everybody know on Zoom. All right, let me get the Zoom link. What is going on with this? I'm gonna pause the recording here. So apologize, we are having a little bit of a technical issue. For some reason, it's not streaming into the group. It has been streaming perfectly this whole time. So we'll figure that out. But for now, hello, welcome to Manifest Your Dream Life Academy. I am very excited to have you guys here. For those of you that aren't seeing it on the live, no problem. Hit the replay and you'll get, obviously the same information. And I'm realizing, so I've got one of my daughter's scrunchies on my wrist right now. So what we're going to talk about today is we're moving into, in the book, Principle 1. Now, Principle 1 is that you deserve anything you desire. So when I say that to you, what I'd like you to check in with yourself about is, how does that feel inside your body? Does it feel true? Like if you think about something you really desire, anything in the world, doesn't matter. It can be a material thing, it can be a non-material thing, it does not matter. If you think about it and you really close your eyes and check in with yourself and say, I deserve this, or simply, I deserve everything I desire, how does it feel inside your body? And for most of us, it feels a little unsure. It feels a little bit like, but do I? It's kind of like, and there's a reason for that. So we come into this world and we are absolutely sure we deserve everything we desire. As a mom, I can tell you, babies come into this world ready to get whatever they want. And they should, right? Really, they should. They come in and they're going to tell you in one way or another what they want, what they need, and you better get it for them, which is a good thing. That's being a good parent. That's being attentive to your kid. But little by little, the world erodes that confidence that we deserve what we really desire, right? So we encounter things in our lives. Sometimes it's authority figures like parents, teachers, other people. And for, maybe we go for something. We're like, I'm dreaming big. I want to be this or that. Like when I was little, I wanted to be president of the United States, actually. Because I wanted to change the world, really was the reason for that. And we'll talk actually in Station 7 about finding your life purpose and why you wanted to be different things. Now I would not like to be president of the United States because it seems like a pretty awful job. But however, that's what I wanted to be when I was a kid. So if I had said something to someone, especially back when I was growing up, I think we're getting closer now, like, I want to be president of the United States. In fact, I can remember saying that to a little boy when I was like, I don't know, second, third grade. And he's like, well, girls can't be president. And I was like, excuse me? But that's what happens, right? It starts to chip away at us. Like there's something about us inherently that means we can't get what we desire. And that becomes a problem, obviously, because when you start to try to change your life and you want to bring these new things into your life, if at your core you do not feel like you're going to get what you desire, then it's going to stop you in your tracks. And we'll talk, especially starting in the next principle, about why sort of energetically that happens, like at a scientific level, what's going on with the frequency of that. But if we look further or just deeper at it, it's just simply we're not going to take those radical actions to go for things if we don't think we deserve them, right? And a lot of, you can do all the affirmations, and you can think all the thoughts, and you can do all the meditations, but at the end of the day, you also need action. We'll talk in station 5 about how actions speak as loud as words. And so action is also a way of manifestation. You take radical action on intuitive hits, for instance, right? And if we don't do that, or if we don't have the confidence because we feel we don't really deserve it, then we don't take the step. And that's where it becomes a problem. So here's where science kind of helps us out a little bit in being able to put that belief we come into this world with back inside our soul. And that's going to be a lot of the work we're going to do in these next few principles quickly. And then we'll get really into it when we get into the stations. So essentially, as I say, we've been taught to constantly, all day long, evaluate our own personal worth against everything and everyone in the world, right? And the media presents a lot of things. Like, people have this whole thing with like celebrities, like the celebrities are somehow made of something better that makes them deserve a better life. And if you look into a lot of celebrities' lives, actually they weren't some of them were not particularly good people, or are not particularly good people, and yet they're living this life they desire, right? So in the book, I give this example. So if you went up and you went to a balloon seller, right? And I'm leaving tonight to fly to Paris. So I always imagine it as like a balloon seller in Paris, probably because of the Little Red Balloon book, if anybody read that when you were a kid. And so let's say you walk up and he has 2 balloons, right? And you look and he says, hey, which one would you like? And you just pick one. Maybe there's a red one and a blue one. Okay. And you're like, I want the red one. The red one, I like red. I'm going to get red. Red's great. And he's like, are you sure? And you're like, I think so. Right. But here goes the doubt. And the doubt starts to come in. You're like, well, am I sure? I think I was sure. I was sure a second ago. And let's say then he says, well, I mean, the red one's fine, but the blue one was made of, plastic, done, shadow period of Mercury in retrograde. Yeah. Yes. On the Zoom link. Thanks, Rachel. You're right. The blue one was made of, this superior, it was made in Turkey by Turkish artisans, and they hand melted the plastic, and the air is from like the French Alps, and the blue one is wonderful. And this one over here is just recycled trash. The red one's recycled trash. Now suddenly you start to think, oh yeah, maybe the red one's not as good. Like, I'm looking at these 2 balloons, they're exactly the same, but maybe the red one's not as good, because now he's telling me this one's made of something better, something different. Okay. And so at that point, maybe you start to lean, or you pick the blue one. Okay. And if this sounds like a total con, it is a total con, but this is exactly what we've been taught throughout our whole lives. Okay. And we have been taught this from everything. So for every society, right, we have money. And when you're a little kid, and I can tell you this too, because my daughter has no idea, especially the pandemic, like cash was not a thing. So now she sees like a dollar bill, a $5 bill, a $20 bill. They're just paper. I mean, she doesn't know. She's like, well, is this more than this? And of course she knows 5's more than 1, but what does that translate to, right? So until we're taught that a $1 bill, for instance, is less, $4 less than a $5 bill, we don't know the difference. It's just paper. What I want you to pay attention to is that we as a society are assigning the worth onto that piece of paper. It's not inherently, like, that dollar bill is not inherently a dollar until we assign it a dollar's worth of value. And then the whole system goes on that, right? Suddenly this piece of paper is worth more than that piece of paper, which is worth more than that piece of paper, right? There's nothing actually different about any of those pieces of paper other than what's printed on them. Same thing is true. Let's say we look at like expensive shoes. I mean, sometimes there's very expensive shoes out there, and hey, they're great, I guess. But we see these expensive shoes. And I remember teaching this in a retreat quite a few years ago, actually. And this woman was like, well, that's great, but actually more expensive shoes actually are nicer. I'm like, I'm actually not, I get ya. Not talking about nicer, talking about what it's actually made of, like the inherent worth of it, right? Because there can be some very nicely made shoes, but they don't have this brand logo, right? We think about all the brand logos, and just putting a brand logo on something because it has mental worth to us. Like the Nike swoosh means nothing. It's a swoosh. There's nothing to it. It's a little like swooshy checkmark thing, right? But then they built that brand up. It's a perception that Nike is this brand. You've got Oscar de la Renta, or you've got any of those kinds of things. I'm trying to think. I don't buy a ton of. Not that I don't like fashion. I like fashion. It's fine, but I just don't shop a lot. But anyways, those luxury Chanel, Louis Vuitton. There we go. I just had a friend of mine recently buy a Louis Vuitton bag. And I was like, whoa, that's expensive. So why are these things? That purse isn't really made of anything so drastically better that, the $30 purse you might buy at Target and the Louis Vuitton purse, I mean, they're kind of made of a lot of the same things. Louis Vuitton hopefully will last a lot longer, I think. So what is it underneath it, right? So this is what we're going to talk about really in depth tomorrow. But at the end of the day, I want you to focus on the fact that nothing and no one is actually made of anything better than you. No matter what you do, when you walk through your day today, I want you to think about the fact that you are mentally, through a lot of programming, assigning the worth to each thing that you see in the world, okay? So if, let's say, you go walking out today and you're walking through a mall and you see various different things, maybe there's a brand you really love, and you look and that has more worth to you, you would pay more for that because you have assigned the worth in your mind to what it is, okay? But somebody else might not have that same value or that same worth. It doesn't mean it's actually inherently made of anything better or worse. So tomorrow we're going to talk a little bit more about the science of this, but essentially every single thing in the entire universe is made of something called particles. The particles that are in your body are the same as the particles that are in my body, are the same as the particles in the Louis Vuitton bag, are same as the particles that are in, the Gucci watch, or any of those things. Those particles are exactly the same. There's literally nothing, they are identical. Like from a science standpoint, there's nothing different about any particle than any other particle, okay? So because of that, it's only in how we perceive things and the worth we have decided to put on them that changes it when it comes together as a certain thing. So I want you to imagine if today you feel like, I'm kind of worth what I desire, whatever. And you feel like all the things you feel about yourself right now, whether they're good or bad. Let's say tomorrow you win the lottery and suddenly you're like a multimillionaire, right? That should not actually inherently change how you feel about yourself. It probably will, but you wouldn't actually inherently be different one day to the next. So the important part of this is that today, the exercise I'd like you to do today is that as you start to evaluate, first, I'd like you to evaluate, do you feel like you actually deserve the life that you desire? Anything in the world that you desire? Do you feel like you actually deserve it? I'd like you to imagine yourself going and getting something that you desire. Okay, again, it can be material, it can be non-material, it doesn't matter. I want you to observe how that makes you feel, like inside yourself when you are like visualizing yourself actually going and getting what it is you desire. How does your body feel? Does it feel excited and like, yes, this is for me, I'm so excited about it? Or does it feel like, oh, I don't know if I totally deserve this, right? Is there hesitation? Notice where that hesitation comes up, because if there's hesitation, there's been some programming along the way that has told you that for some reason, whatever this isn't for you. Whether it's you're selfish if you decide to buy something just for you, you're vain if you want to go get some beautiful dress that's just for you, or suit, whatever. It can be a lot of different things. Pay attention to what that looks like or what that sounds like in your head if you find that hesitation. And you're welcome to even put that in the group so that I can help you take a look at that and shift it. And then finally, I want you, as you go through your day today, I want you to consciously, throughout the day, bring to your mind the fact that anything that you look at is exactly the same as you. It's not made of anything superior. It's not better than you in any possible way. It's not anything that you don't deserve because it's the same as you. So how can you not deserve it, right? You have it. It's the same. I want you to go through and literally notice how that changes the way you perceive things. Notice the value you put on things outside yourself. And tomorrow, we're going to work on a little bit more. What does this mean to you in terms of who you are choosing to become? Because when we look at it from that way, you're going to see that kind of everything that you've got inside you has already kind of been there, done that. So you have everything inside you right now to actually attract to you, to tune into the things you desire right now. We just have to get your subconscious totally convinced of it, which is what we're working on a daily basis now. So hopefully this was a helpful thing for you today. Please let me know if those exercises that I just talked about are going to be helpful for you and something that you can do today, and what your reaction was. I will hopefully fix the Zoom going into the group, and I will download this recording really quickly, put it up into the group so people in the group can get it really quick. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, did anybody who's here, were you able to did you look at the Dreamcatcher training? Again, there's no pressure. So you never have to be perfect. You never have to attend every meeting, but it's great if you do. Like, the more that you choose to be here live or rearrange your schedule to make sure you're hitting that replay and doing the replay each day, the better results you're going to get, obviously. Okay. So was anybody able to do the Dreamcatcher over the weekend? Let me know, and I'll ask in the group too. Thank you so much for being here. So tomorrow. Okay. So tonight I'm flying to France. It should be absolutely fine for me to be able to go live tomorrow, which will be 5 p.m. Paris time. In the outside chance that for some reason something doesn't work, then I will record it and put it up into the group. But there should be, hopefully, if everything's cool and my flight's not delayed and everything works out just perfect that way, I will be going live normally at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 5 p.m. Paris time, and we will have a live session tomorrow. If it doesn't work, I will pre-record and get it loaded into the group and get it into the portal as well. Okay? So thank you guys so much for being here. Tomorrow, hopefully, will be about a 20-minute one as well. And then Wednesday, I'm going to start working on giving you some more exercises, actually a really powerful exercise on Wednesday to start to shift and bring things into your life at a very different level. It'll just shift a lot of stuff for you guys. It's really easy to do. So thanks, Rachel. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks, Liz, and everybody else who's here. And then look for this in the group in just a second too. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.